What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 16, First and 10 with Foz. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We are 20 days away from that big home opener versus Green Bay. Everyone's waiting for that game. The countdown's on to 20 more days to go. Other than that, Saturday's game was a battle of the backups. Tyler Baggett had a nice standout game. Roshan Johnson brought his stuff to the table, which was nice to see. And now we're dealing with Tevin Jenkins and double calf injuries. So we're going to get more into that on Thursday's show, but that's pretty much the overview for tonight. Other than that, tonight we have the fan of fans, the Ford Hall of Fans, Bear Superfan, class of 2022, who made it all the way from New Jersey as a Bears fan all the way to Canton, Ohio. Welcome to the show, Mr. Terence Young, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, Fox?
Hey, my guy, what's up, sir?
Hey, man, happy to be here. Living a dream in Bears land.
It's an honor to have you, man. So everyone got their notepads tonight about how to get into the Ford Hall of Fans. So he's going to break it down, what we all need to do, and how to get in that Canton, Ohio. I'm just joking.
Secret codes.
Yeah, passwords. We'll get into the Hall of Fame stuff a little bit down the road, man.
Sure.
But obviously your fandom had a beginning like so many others. As a Bears fan, oddly enough, yours did not start in Chicago, though. Yours started as a Jersey boy in New Jersey, man. So how does a Jersey boy become a Bears fan?
Yeah, it's crazy, Foz. And first and foremost, thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Thanks for doing that. I know you're a busy man.
Oh no, man. I always got time. Man. But no, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Jersey, grew up as a diehard Bears fan, living in the state of New Jersey. I was always a Walter Payton fan, so that was my guy. Love what he did on the field, love what he was off the field. He just embodied, what a great human being should be. Forget about the football aspect. That was just the bonus.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the Walter Payton Man of the Year, the Walter Payton Foundation, what that's become to be since his legacy.
Yep. Exactly. But, and growing up in Jersey, I always despised the Giants. And it was mostly just because of the friends that I had in Jersey. A lot were Giants fans, and they were I just thought they were the biggest, egotistical, even at 7-8 years old. You could already tell they just kind of had that Jersey, stank about them.
Talking crap already, middle school.
On the playground, playing kickball. And then there were some that were Jets fans, and I was just never a Jets fan. I didn't care for the Jets one way or the other. But I gravitated to the Bears because of Walter Payton. Me and two of my buddies at the time still talk with them to this day. We were just diehard Bears fans. We just loved what the Bears were about. And this goes back to 1983, so 2 years before the Super Bowl. And the rest is history. And
how did you see Bears games on the East Coast? Obviously, the NFL ticket wasn't around back then. So were you listening on the radio? Was there a lot of
some of the stuff was radio. Then as I got a little bit older, obviously with the Bears being in the Super Bowl in '85, I was a fifth grader. But my one good buddy, his parents had a big Super Bowl party, and we were all there, and we did the Super Bowl shuffle and the talent show as fifth graders. And I always say we got robbed. We came in second, and they're like, "You can't let these kids from Jersey put on the Super Bowl shuffle and win it." So we came in second. I played, of course, the part of Walter Payton.
I was about to ask you, what part were you? Were you?
Of course, Willie Galt? Yeah, well, it was going to be between Payton and Galt, but I told the guy that wound up being Galt, I'm like, look, I love Willie Galt, but I am going to be Payton. That is my dude. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, So that was that. And then after, kind of middle school, then getting into high school and college, I was able to see it obviously with the ticket and go to, sports bars, watch them there and be able to see them more often, at least on TV.
Tell me about your first time going to the original Soldier Field. Was it just heaven? Was it poetic? I mean, were you living in Chicago at the time? Did you travel to Chicago for the game?
Yeah, the first time that went to Soldier Field for a Bears game was prior to getting season tickets, because I got season tickets in 2008, but I had been to Soldier Field. It was the early part of, or late 90s. I was still in high school. and a buddy of mine, and we went with his dad and actually went to see the Bears play. And that was the first time seeing him, which was just amazing. And we had seen him before that. We would see him anytime they play at, the old Giant Stadium, and seeing him play against the Giants, seeing him play against the Jets. Would trek down to Philly sometimes, even though I just did not want to go there for a lot of reasons.
We know.
Yeah. But yeah, but the first time I just remember of all the times watching the Bears, seeing them on TV, and then finally being able to stand in front of Soldier Field to see those columns there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just like, wow. I mean,
this is prior to This is prior to the reconstruction.
Yeah, this is prior to the prior to the remodel, prior to the Champagne deal.
Yeah.
This was all before that, and then after that, then my wife, at that time we were dating, but my wife and we'd go to Chicago, and we'd go to games even though we didn't have our season tickets yet, but we got the tickets. Fast forward to 2008. And then that was just totally life changing once we got those season tickets.
So when did you move to Chicago then? Just to backtrack.
So I've been being off and on in Chicago. We moved there back in 2012. So we bought a condo downtown in 2012. At this point, we had already left Jersey and came to outside the Atlanta area, where I'm actually at now, where I'm doing the podcast from. So we're here for a couple of weeks. And we moved to Atlanta in 2000, moved to Chicago in 2012, got season tickets in 2008. So those first 3 seasons.
Yeah, I was about to say, so you were traveling all those home games.
Back and forth. Went to every home game.
Yeah.
Obviously we weren't doing, before that we were doing all the away games. So we used to try to go to all the stadiums, and we had a list of stadiums that we've been to, or at least teams that we've seen the Bears play on the road. But then once we got the home, season tickets, we were like, we'll reverse it, and we're just going to go to all the home games. We go to occasional road games here and there, but now we do a mix, but it's still every home game that we attend.
So how many stadiums have you knocked off your list so far?
Man, I mean, I'm trying to think what's current. Well, one of them I'm going to get done this year because we're going to the Kansas City game.
Nice.
And we're going to go to the Minnesota game in Minnesota. It's crazy. We have never been to Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah. So those are 2 off the list. We checked off Detroit just last year for the first time. We went on New Year's Day. The only one we haven't gone to in the division, once that's all said and done, is Green Bay. I was waiting for those. I was waiting for number 4 and 12 to be gone. So now with Love there, I'm ready to start tackling and get up there and see them play.
It's gonna be a cold game this year in January, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll go this year, maybe next year, but we're definitely looking to get there. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I don't know how many, but I can tell you it's less than probably 10 teams in the whole NFL. You probably have to see them play against. Yeah.
So you've been a season ticket holder for 15 years, but you haven't missed a game at all in over 30 years, correct?
No. Yeah, I mean, whether it's been watching on TV, listening on the radio, being there in person, I don't miss a Bears game, and it's to the point. I don't miss a live Bears game. I'm not one that I'm going to DVR the game and then I can't do that with live sports. I mean, people ask me that all the time. They're like, well, why don't you just DVR and watch it later? And I just give them a look, and it's like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. So yeah, it's one of the things I pride myself on. It's just and it's really not out of anything other than the fact that I just love the Bears and I want to watch them. And that's what I want to do with my time on a Thursday or a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday for 3 hours of my day. So
yes, sir.
It's pretty awesome. And now it's like a ritual. I mean, with all the friends and between, the podcasts like yours, tailgating, and I mean, Bears Nation is amazing. It's like no other team that, I mean, I know everybody says, oh, my team is this, my team is that, but I definitely think we are by far leaps and bounds ahead of other teams when it comes to fandom and it comes to the,
we should be, man. We started the NFL, everybody. You're welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome. Right.
You're welcome for George Hallis, everybody.
That's right.
So you kind of got involved with the Bears organization, and this is even before your Ford Hall of Fame. So tell me about how you started to get involved with the organization.
Yeah, so the funny thing is the first thing that we ever did, my wife and I, with the Bears was the Bears Care Gala. So the Bears put on a gala every year. They've had it since 1996 was the first year that they've had the gala. And they raised money through live auctions, auctioning items, donations, obviously the tables, to go there. They have a full course meal, entertainment with a live band and a DJ.
Yeah.
And it's all for the good of raising money for finding support and ultimately finding treatment for both breast cancer as well as ovarian cancer as well.
Awesome.
So super great causes. And I will tell you, and I'll tell you, Files, I'll tell everyone listening to your podcast, I tell everyone that I meet that's a Bears fan, I said, if you can do one event throughout the year, go to the Bears Care Gala. It's except for 1 year, it's always in May. 2 years ago it was in June, but it's usually like the second weekend in May. The Bears will put stuff out there through social media, but you can go to their website and you start looking right around, March and April, they'll start releasing tickets. But it is by far the best event because, again, you have all of the support that you're giving, and the room is packed with fans. It's packed with Bears players, both present as well as alumni players. You have coaches. You have George McCaskey there. You have Virginia McCaskey there.
Wow.
You have the Ryan Poles, the Matt Eberfluses there. So I mean, it's anyone and everyone in Bears Nation, and you are there to support a great cause. So that was what started. That was the first, let's say, branch of of support, and just giving to a great cause. And then beyond that, we participate in a lot of the players initiatives. So in the past, and we still do with like PM CST's Cornerstone Foundation, and Allen Robinson's had things when he was here that we've done. Sam Acho was a big proponent.
Yeah.
He's one of the best guys, and I tell you, it's like, Sam is like a brother, man. I mean, that guy is the nicest guy you could ever meet. I mean, on and off the field, the guy is just genuine. Yeah. And so, his foundation for Waiters Night and his causes for raising money in Africa and all the things he does and he continues to do in the city of Chicago and underserved, communities in Chicago. It's tremendous. So we always try to give and do what we can for his causes. But, we don't really pick and choose. We try to find out as much as we can about the players' initiatives and their branch or their arm of philanthropy, and look at all the philanthropic, options and things we can do. But one of the things is it's hard to find some of these things. So a lot of people ask, well, how do you find how to do these things or where to go?
Yeah, dude, exactly. That was what I was just pondering.
Yeah, and it's a little hard to find all the initiatives, but I would say one of the best things is just through social media, because a lot of the players on
Twitter accounts,
it's huge. Where it's them, they're going to put out the things that they want to put out, and you're going to learn a lot about their foundations and things that are going on, because there's a lot that you can give to, and you can give, your time or money or both. And it's just a tremendous time that you'll have as well. So it's like, what better way to give? And then, you're hanging out with some of your favorite players off the field. Where it's a lot different than, sort of just watching them play every Sunday.
And like you said, you've established a relationship with these people over the years, contacts, things of that nature. So that's absolutely amazing. Your heroes become your friends.
Right.
So, dude, I just got on X now, is what it's called.
Right, whatever they call it.
Doing the podcast, and I completely agree, dude. There's so much informative stuff on Twitter in regard to these things more than any other social media. And I guess I didn't know that as much. So, I got out there on Twitter, dude. I've been finding out so much awesome stuff. So, love being on that platform now, but I'm definitely going to check that out. Yeah. Are there any current players, charities that you're currently working with on the current roster?
We haven't done anything recent with any of the current players, like their own arm of, philanthropic work. But, one of the things is we're trying to connect more with Justin Fields and trying to get into some of his initiatives and do some of the things that he is trying to do. One of the things with the Bears is, we're such a young team right now, and you look at the current roster. So a lot of these guys, they're just starting to build up some of these, some of their own works.
Very young group.
Yeah, exactly. So, right now we've done more of the Bears, charity events. But we always still look, again, like I mentioned before, we're still looking and we're still trying to see, hey, what's this player have? What's that player have? You have a lot of the alumni that have things that are still going on. But yeah, we definitely want to do more with the local team or with the current team as they begin to branch out and we find out more about things that are going on. But, this is the time of the year, of course, you don't get too much, right? You're in season.
Exactly.
So, these guys, you're going to see where they may have it during their, like when they have their bye week, there may be like some player that has something, but those become difficult even because then you have, one player that may get a couple other players, but everybody else, they're on vacation, they're going away, they're seeing their families,
exactly.
So, a lot of them might not be in Chicago, and most of these are always going to be in and around, the Chicagoland area, of course.
So going back to the gala, the main one you were talking about, is that like a pay per table kind of thing? Is it like a donation thing kind of gets you into the door? Can you go into more detail about that?
Sure. Yeah, it's a pay per table. So there's a certain amount depending on what level of table you want to be at. And the tables are tables of 10. Okay. And they're separated in terms of where you sit. You'll either sit with a current player. It may be an alumni player. It may be with a coach. It may be with, and there's different levels to that. So they have all of those variety of, like ways that you can basically, get in the door. And then some of the levels, 2 of the levels, they call it the Super Bowl and Hall of Fame level. They allow you access as long as it's not raining. In the past, you'd go on the field and they'd have, a platform on the field that you would sit at or stand at. They'd have tables. And little cocktail hour, little hors d'oeuvres out there. What they did over the last couple of years is they've had it indoors. They've had it on the main level, sort of like where they would have like the DJ for game days or that, and that would be the area where they would have it. It's sort of like a mingling area. Yeah. You meet players, you talk with players, you take pictures with them, and like I said, there's anyone and everyone there, and you can actually buy a table if you want. So if you had 10 people. You could buy a table and it's just the same price, 10 times the cost of whatever table that you're looking to buy.
Yeah, when I was going through your pictures during your promo video, I'm like, I think this guy has met every player that I love with all my heart. But my number one was most jealous is I love Peanut Tillman. So he's definitely one of my favorite players of all time. So and I've heard so many awesome stories about him over the years. I mean, that was definitely my top of jealousy right there.
Right.
So meeting all these players, I have to imagine, I imagine the majority of them are great guys, great people.
Oh, yeah.
Have you come across any, just standoffish?
You know what? No. And it's not to escape the question either.
No.
Honestly, every player that I've met personally has always been nothing but cool. That's amazing. Some of them are, will hang out more and it's their personality. Some are maybe a little bit more reserved. They're like to themselves a little bit, but everyone that I've ever met has always been friendly. They'll always take a picture with you. They'll sign an autograph if you want them to. I'm not a big autograph guy. I've always been a photo guy because I'm autographs are cool and I get memorabilia and I collected and I've done that for years and years. But over the past several years, I'm more about pictures because they last forever and they truly do. And they can always stay with you. So, I mean, you can go to a picture and you look at it and you can tell the story behind it, which is really, really cool.
See, and I agree with you most definitely. I think with the autograph thing, I've learned this more recently as I've gotten more into fandom and meeting people.
Right.
Sometimes they think you're just trying to get an autograph from them, you're going to go hack a football on eBay. And some of them are kind of reserved to sign some stuff because of the people out there who ruin it for everyone who you really just want an autograph for your favorite player, but other people are just buying brand new balls and stuff to go throw up on eBay and try and make a quick buck off of.
Yep, so, exactly.
No, but I agree with you, dude. The pictures definitely last a lifetime.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking lasting a lifetime, let's talk about the Ford Hall of Fans, man. So it started in 2019.
Yep.
Now, what stopped you from entering in 2019? Was it because Bearman was entering? Did you guys kind of talk about it?
No. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I didn't know about the contest the first year at all.
Okay.
I had no clue. I never heard of it. Didn't know what it was. It wasn't until after Bearman was in 2019. And that first class, I started getting like just a little bit of information about it. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, so forth and so on. You know, I read a little bit about it, but just sort of on the surface. Well, then, you know, 2020 hits. I don't necessarily think through like, oh, okay, I'm gonna initiate myself and fill out this form and blah, blah, blah. So again, it's just sort of like, okay, you know, cool. Well,
COVID's going on and everything now.
Right. Well, by the time 2021 comes, I with my regular job, as I like to call it, I transitioned into something else, and I had some time off for a little bit, and it worked right around the time when all of the Hall of Fans, Ford Hall of Fans, was being posted again, and I was hearing more about it. So this time, I really took the time to just read about the full contest and what it was. And all the steps and stages and so forth. And I said, you know what? I'm like, I'm going to do it this year. Like, I am going to nominate myself. I'm going to self-nominate myself. Yeah. I'm going to fill this out. And you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I'm like, I know the type of Bears fan that I am. And I said, look, there's millions of Bears fans across the world who are diehard fans. And, you know, I always said, I'm never going to say that I'm more of a fan than this person or more of a fan than that person. But I know my angle, which was a little bit different probably than some of the other fans, was when you look at the philanthropic work and you look at the charitable events and sort of that angle. Because, you know, going to the games, not missing a game, diehard fans, yeah, I mean, we all are. I mean, the true Bears Nation.
Yeah, that doesn't cut it for these competitions anymore.
Right, we're all that. Yeah. So that's what I think was the angle. That was the difference maker for me, because, you know, unlike Bearman, and again, shout out to him, the inaugural class of 2019. You know, I don't have the bear costume. I don't put face paint on. Like that's just like me. And I've always said, I'm like, everyone fans differently, right? You know, we always use that word fans. How do you fan? Yeah. So what Bearman does and what I do are two different things, but you know, that's my brother. You know, that's my brother from another mother. I love that guy to death. He's awesome.
Yeah, Don's a man.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a different thing that we do. But you know, we now have the most commonality of now being in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and just like the Chicago Bears, we have the most fans in the Pro Football Hall of Fame with two, like we do with players in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Sir. Yes,
sir. It's only right. It's only right.
You guys are making us look good, man. No, but I get what you're saying, dude. He has the character. Yeah. You just go out there like an everyday dressed guy, and that's completely fine. I mean, I go out there. I'm not dressed up in character, although some say I look like a character with my beard and glasses and everything. But that's just me. I can't help that.
Well, and Faz, honestly, that's exactly what it's about. It's about being yourself, and I think that's, you know, being your authentic self and just being natural in who you are. And that's what I was as a Bears fan. So I said, hey, I'm going to fill this out. I'm going to complete it. And I'm going to let the powers that be make the determination as to what may or may not happen. Yeah, I never thought in my wildest dreams that it would have ended.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you were doing the video and you entered, like, and you submitted, like, were you just like, I'm glad I did it, whatever, I did it? Or,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I just enjoyed it because, again,
you were like, I got this.
Right. No, not at all. I mean, it gave me the opportunity to really sit back and just be like, yeah, this is pretty cool, because it's all in stages. So what you do, you start off and you fill out a form. And then once you fill out that form, it's like, well, you know, if you're selected for the next round, you'll be contacted. So I don't know, it was probably a couple weeks later, and that's when they wanted me to do a video, and it has to be a minute or less. So I'm thinking of what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do this. So I have a replica Lombardi trophy from Super Bowl 20 that I keep here in Georgia, where I'm at. And I did a video sitting in the authentic seats from when they tore the stadium down in 2001. I had mounted in my basement, and that's where I'm sitting at now. Yeah. And I just had my jersey on, my Peyton jersey, and I was holding the Lombardi trophy, and I just did this little spiel. I recorded it, and I submitted it. And then again, it's like, okay, you know, thank you. You know, we have your video. You know, can you send us some pictures of you just, you know, at games or blah, 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 blah. So I did that. And then you sort of wait. and you wait, and then you get the next step. So there were multiple steps within this process, but you never knew how many there were.
And the next step is when you kind of got a prank call from the Chicago Bears, right?
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
The Chicago Bears, cool. They call you saying, Terrence, we want you to come film a welcome back from COVID video for the fans coming back in the seats. So, I mean, obviously being involved with the organization, you're like, yeah, sure. I mean, it doesn't seem too odd, right?
Right. I mean, I was a little. Let's put it like this. I was like, I was going to say yes, regardless. You want me to come to Soldier Field and you're going to give me a tour of the stadium? Okay, fine. Of course, I'm thinking to myself, now this is welcoming back the fans. This was in December. It was the Monday after we lost to Arizona.
Yeah.
We played Arizona. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm going to Soldier Field. I think it was December 6th, if I remember the correct date on that Monday. And I'm sitting there thinking, how are they doing a welcoming back the fans? We got like a month of football left. But I'm like, hey, I'm going to Soldier Field.
We're on Bears schedule. It doesn't.
Right.
So did you have any idea at this point?
No,
whatsoever?
None.
Completely blindsided.
The funniest thing about it was I knew the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Ford Hall of Fans competition was still going on. The last they had told me before I heard from the Bears was that they were trying to get their coordination together for interviews, and they were going to have multiple people interview at Soldier Field. So now I'm thinking, so wait a minute, is this multiple? These are multiple people from sort of the Midwest area that are going to come and all interview at Soldier. Again, not really thinking through it. Now I think about it.
Why would the Bears lie to me and tell me it's a COVID video?
Exactly. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, well, hey, I'm just riding with it. Let's go with it. And I totally put aside the Ford Hall of Fans. Not that it was over. I just figured, okay, there's nothing else going on there yet. I'm going to hear from them in a week or two. I'm thinking this is all Bears. And then, of course, I got the surprise of my life.
Give me the play-by-play. You arrive at Soldier Field, right?
So
I get there.
Yep.
Tell me everything leading up to that moment walking out the tunnel.
Yeah, so I get to Soldier Field and get to the lobby of, like, the United Club, and they start interviewing me. They put on like the little interview pack on, and I don't know who these people are. And long story short, I find out that this is Bleacher Report that's there.
Yeah.
And I'm going through this, and they're asking me questions just about being a fan and being a season ticket holder, and a couple of questions here and there. And then that ends, and then we wind up going out a door, and they're telling me we're going to film you walking out the tunnel. So we just want to stay behind you, and we're going to film you, and, just kind of walk at like a slow pace and blah, blah, blah. They give me the instructions. So they roll, and I walk out. And when I first get out there, I'm looking around, and there's no one there. And I see the scoreboard, and the scoreboard's on. Now, I should have caught it at this time. But again, I'm all within just kind of the
Soldier Field being filmed right now. Right, You're in a zone.
I'm in this zone right now. So I'm looking, and one of the scoreboards, it was on the north end zone scoreboard. It's got the Ford Hall of Fans, like a promo up there. And I'm thinking,
snaps.
But it still doesn't even hit me, Foz. It doesn't hit me that, okay, this is what this is. I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But so the main guy that's filming, he goes, hey, we need you to do it again. Something with my camera, it didn't film. And again, I don't know this. This was all, I learned all.
You're just doing what you're told at this point.
I'm just doing what I'm told. I'm like, I'll get to walk through again. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'll come out the tunnel again, sure.
Right. So I walk through the second time. This time I get to the end. I get out there again. I look to my left. There's nothing. I look to my right. From my peripheral, Mike Singletary.
Samurai Mike is walking towards you.
Samurai Mike is, and I literally, I promise you, I turn to my right, I see him, and I just go, what's up, Mike? And I step with my hand out. I had no idea what else to say. I was in such shock that I was like, why is Mike Singletary standing right next to me? I shake his hand. He tells me, he's like, Terrence, he's like, you're a diehard fan. You're the reason why players like myself have been able to come out here on this field and do what we do. It takes the passion of fans like you to get us through these games. And I mean, he's just going on and on about me and the fans in general of the Bears and what they've done for him. And obviously the 85 team and those great successful years they had, even not winning the Super Bowl to current day. And he's just like, he embraces me, he gives me a hug. And I'm just sitting there the whole time thinking, I'm like, Mike, just please don't blindside me, man. Don't blindside me.
How are you just not like bawling tears at this point? I'd be like a baby. So
well, I will tell you this. It was so cold, Foz. I'm like, if you went back and look at the temperature,
your eye ducts are frozen.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally. I felt like I was Han Solo, like when they put him in.
I mean, the carbonite, huh?
Right, but it was. I mean, the whole time there, it was just such a surreal moment, and you're trying to process all this.
Oh, you're in shock, obviously.
And it's like, so there's part shock. It's like you're excited. You're like, what is going on? And then it was just the coolest thing after that. So then, he did Singletary did a couple of promos. I had to do a couple of promos, read some things. He read some things. And then we had a little off time because they were, Bleacher Nation, they were doing what they needed to do and kind of get all their things together. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just talking to Mike. We're just talking like you and I are talking here.
That's awesome.
And he's like, hey, where do you live? How you doing? What do you do for work? I was like, hey, how's the family? So it's just like, we're just, we're bonding. We're just talking, having a great time. And, we go through all of that. And then, we wind up moving from outside of Soldier Field to the inside tunnel again. And then we move back to actually the front of Soldier Field where I first walked in. And they had like the Ford truck there and they were doing some promos with that and some more things. And that sort of ended my time with Mike there. And then I wound up going back to the condo. And then I had more like B-roll footage that was being done later on that day at the condo.
No, that was the official you were in at that point, correct?
Well, no. So
there was still voting after that.
Yeah.
Right?
So that was just all that was. And I say all that was. It was amazing. That was to bring it to 5 people. So there were 5 people at that point after that December, first week, second week in December that they had nominated and had basically eliminated other people. Yeah. Brought it down to 5. I was one of the 5. Then it was a voting process, like you said. So the voting process was a month long of voting. And it was
I remember.
You remember, all the social media platforms. And shout out to Bears Nation because you guys came through. You guys were you guys did it, man. I said that from the beginning. I'm like, you know what?
We take care of our own, man. We take care of our own.
Absolutely. That's why I'm here where I am today. But the voting took place for a month and you didn't know who was winning. They didn't tell you, like, even though you might be listed first or in the first square, then you might be the last square. That didn't mean anything. Yeah. And so the long story short was...
But you're reading everything at this point, regardless.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't have been sleeping for a month.
Right. So the craziest thing was it was the Monday before the Super Bowl. So what they told us was after the voting was done, no more, you couldn't vote anymore. And I was trying to keep it fresh, all the daily voting and doing through all the social media streams. They said, okay, at this point, it's going to be announced on Good Morning Football. So Good Morning Football is going to announce it. And they told us it would be right around the 9 a.m. Central Time slot. But, they're on from 6 to 12 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, of course, I can't sleep that Sunday night. I'm up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. By 6 o'clock, I'm glued in front of the TV. Yeah. I've got Good Morning Football on. I'm taping it too. And, I'm watching it. It gets to, 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9 o'clock hits. I'm like, I don't think it's going to come on now because it wouldn't be like a natural transition.
No, did you have like a party or friends over or family or anything?
So it was in Chicago. It's a Monday. Okay. It was just me and my wife. So me and my wife, we're just there. And we're literally watching it, and I'm sitting there like, oh man, like when is this gonna come on? And I'm like, and then they tell us beforehand, they're like, well, make sure you've got someone there recording your reaction to when it happens. And I'm thinking, well, I hope that reaction is gonna be that I get in because I don't want the reaction that I don't get in.
Yeah, exactly.
So all of a sudden, Kay Adams is talking, and I hear that she introduces Charles Woodson. And I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, I think this is the part. I think this is where it's going to come up.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she gets into conversation that then turns into the Ford Hall of Fans. And I'm like, oh, my God. So now, forget about
sweat bullets.
Forget about even when I'm at Singletary. Now I am 100% like just numb. Because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. This is it. All the stuff that went on for the last couple of months.
I couldn't even imagine, man.
It comes down to a 2-minute segment or 3-minute segment
Yeah.
And so Charles he's sitting there, and then he's announcing the finalists, and the finalists were down to 3. So of the 5, we're now going to 3. So the first one he announces, I think it was Amy Nolan from the Giants.
Okay.
And shout out to Amy. She is awesome. She is my sister in the hall. I love her to death. She's amazing. Second person is Michael Banks of the Lions.
Okay.
And I'm like, and shout out to Michael. Awesome dude. Again, got to meet all these guys through
of course.
after this. Great guy, diehard Lions fan. Even though he's in a division, I don't take it out on him.
I'm sure you guys went through this all together.
Oh,
like,
of course.
Nobody else can relate. That's like a family bond, right?
It is. And then all of a sudden, then I hear Terence Young of the Chicago Bears, and I just was like, yes, yes. And the thing that was crazy about it was when it was announced, so Kay Adams, again, going back to the gala, I met her at the gala, her and Kyle Brandt, because they were the hosts of the gala back in, I think it was 2018.
Sure.
And they did like the whole like orange carpet, they call it, not the red carpet, orange carpet. So they were live out there doing it. So I got to hang out with her, and so she knows me. So she's like, oh my God, that's Terrence. She's like, Terrence is so cool. Like in the great Kay Adams voice. I love her to death. But, so and it's like, yeah, we know Terrence. So it was the coolest thing. I still, of course, keep that treasured in tape. And so that was the official announcement. And then from there, that was Monday. Thursday, we flew out to LA for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So we go to the Super Bowl, and then that's when it got finalized, because they technically did not say that all 3 of us were going to get inducted. Because
they were just the 3 finalists.
They were the 3 finalists.
Like, what does that mean?
Right. Yeah. So it turned out the 3 finalists got selected. We all got selected to be inducted later that summer in Canton in August. And I tell you, shout out to Ford. They were absolutely amazing. Everything that they did for us, provided us, took care of us. Beyond the Super Bowl, which is amazing in itself, but, concerts and dinners and just a fantastic company, fantastic group of people. We'll never, ever forget that. And then, so then the culmination of the Super Bowl weekend was finding out that we would be getting inducted in Canton in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in August. So August of 2022 was my induction. So
let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about that day. Obviously drove out to Canton, correct? Did you
so they flew us out there.
Oh,
they flew us out there.
Okay.
So they flew us out to Canton. They had car services for us. So just my wife and I, they picked us up at the airport. They got the guy with the young son. I'm like, this is fantastic. So we went out, and obviously in Canton we had the same thing, had a program. We went to the enshrinements of the players for that year, and different parties, different things that went on. Again, just part of this whole amazing package that Ford put on.
Yeah.
And what they did, which was great, our induction was Friday. So Saturday was the players, ours was Friday. And we got there Thursday, sort of like in the evening. So it sort of worked out, because it took sort of the pressure of what that weekend was going to be. Because even at that point, even as far as we had gone, and at that point, myself, Michael, and Amy, just the closest of friends, we had been talking and on the phone and messaging each other, and everybody's super excited. But we get there, and now we're less like little kids again, because we're like, we don't know. Like, we don't, we're like, what if they don't? What if it's only one of us? Like, what? And we're going through all this stuff.
Every question under the moon,
exactly. And we're like, no, they won't do that. They wouldn't do that. But like, they could. Yeah. So we go through all the what ifs, and and then our fears are put to rest. And we get to Canton, and we get to meet Jim Porter, who's the president of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Amazing dude. And we get to hang out with him, and he tells us just again the importance of fans, and what an accomplishment this is. And then they unveil, and it's like one by one, they unveil our plaques, they unveil the displays that we have, because they wanted us to send different things that made.
No, is that all your stuff in the display case?
All my
your
stuff.
Personal stuff? Okay.
That's all my personal stuff. So all of that will wind up coming back to me at the end of this year. That's the latest update for it. But yeah, so all of that was all part of the weekend. So we see the display. They had the plaque that's in there, and now there's 12 of us? 12 of us that are up on the wall, and then we'll get the things back from our display. But we also got a jacket. So instead of the gold jacket, we've got the blue jacket.
I was gonna ask, did you get a gold jacket or it's a different color?
It's blue, yeah. So it's blue. It's a blue jacket, and that's all for Ford, for the Ford Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame patch. They also they gave us some Pro Football Hall of Fame patches as well to put on.
Hell yeah.
And then they give us a ring. So a nice ring. With our names on it, Pro Football, our Ford Hall of Fans, and it's on the side says Pro Football Hall of Fame, with our first name on one side, the last name on the other side.
I know Don wears it all the time. I was like, Don, let me peep that real fast. Let me check that thing. I was like, oh, that fits in.
I do. I mean, my thing is I always try to keep it safe. I wear it to all. So now what I do is I wear it to all Bears events. I wear it to every Bears game that we go to. So I'll be wearing it during the season at home. I'll be wearing it on the road. I let people, people say, hey, can I get a picture? I say, hey, put it on. I mean, I'm like, this ring is our ring. It's got my name on it, but it's our ring. I really do think of it that way because, again, I mean, I'm humble to what I was able to accomplish as a fan.
You did the work, though, my friend. You did the work. You put in time.
I appreciate it.
So
I appreciate it.
You're the one who represented us well, man. So you deserve it.
I appreciate you, man.
So what's post Hall of Fame like nowadays? I mean, do you get like special perks? I mean, you just walk on the field of Soldier Field whenever you want. What's going on with that?
I wish there was. If I could just walk into Soldier Field anytime and kind of go like an alumni.
Show them the ring real fast. Right. Yeah, there's my pass right there.
No, but I will say this. Just from all the people we have met in the past that work for the Bears, players of the Bears, a lot of them know my story, especially the ones that have been there for a couple of years. So it's really cool. So my wife, shout out to her. She made T-shirts at the time that was for the Hall of Fame or Hall of Fans and getting in the Hall of Fans. And we had T-shirts and we were, giving them to people just for free, not obviously charge anything, but giving them to people.
Yeah.
And I wound up giving it to some Bears players, like head of security. I gave him one, John. That's our guy. Yeah. Love him to death. And Justin has one, a couple other people. So, we've given them out. So it's kind of cool, just to be able to do that.
I got to meet John at the draft here. John's an awesome guy.
Yeah. Oh, he's awesome. Yeah. He's always a cool guy.
He's really cool, and he sees super fans, and he automatically comes up to you and starts talking to you.
Absolutely.
Which I was a little thrown off. I'm like, why is the security guard?
Right.
But did I do something wrong?
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah.
Right.
He's really
normally you don't want the security guys coming up to you, but when he comes up to you, it's a good thing. It's not
100%. Man,
yeah,
100%.
Exactly. But nothing too crazy. We've reached out to the Bears on certain things, and we've been able to have certain things, and I think certain things done, but I don't think it's necessarily because we're like I'm in the Hall of Fame or Hall of Fans, but it's more so just Bears season ticket holder for X number of years. So I think the Bears do look at that, and not to say you have to be a season ticket holder, but I think they are going to look and they're going to say, hey, we want to try to take care of all of our fans as best we can, and if you're a season ticket holder, they're going to probably look and see, hey, what can we do for this person or this family?
Sure.
And here's what I would say too, Faz, and I'll say this for all of your listeners and viewers, just ask. At the end of the day, all they can say is no. You'd be surprised what you might be able to get just by asking. And, a simple asking of a question and see what they say. They may say, well, we can't do that, but would you be interested in this? Or, something like that. But yeah, so it's good, man. So like I said, I wouldn't say there's anything in particular as far as perks, but one of the things that I've been doing more of is connecting more with all of the Hall of Fans from all the other teams. So one of the coolest things is when we got in 2022, we had a couple of Hall of Fans that got in prior years that showed up, that lived in the area. So like Ray Showdog from Cleveland, shout out to him. Rick Holman from Pittsburgh, shout out to him. Those guys are pretty close in the area, so they're up there. They're up there like every year. So every induction they go. Us being a little bit further out, can't really make that commitment. But we've always said that. My wife and I have always said, any Bears get in, we're going. So next year Devin gets in, and let's get Mongo in.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow, my friend. Tomorrow.
I know. I cannot wait. I'm hoping good mojo just from this interview today, Faz. And
there we go, man.
Just gonna bring it over the hump, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what's on the docket for Mr. Terence Young this year? What do you got going on this year? I mean, more charitable efforts, stuff. What's your plans for the season this year?
Yeah, so obviously super excited. 20 days or whatever until I can't believe. So September 10th is my birthday too. So
there we go, baby.
So that's every
you took
year,
some time off of work, I see too.
Of course. I took the 11th off. I might have to take the 12th too.
The sleep day, the recovery day,
right? Yeah. But I've always said my one wish every season for my birthday, because it's always right around the start of the season, either the day of or coming up, a day or two away. I want a Bears win, and when they're playing at home and you're playing against Green Bay, it doesn't get any better.
Opening day. Aaron Rodgers is gone.
Yeah.
Defense looking solid.
Yep.
Justin Fields, DJ Moore.
Ready. That's it. Let's go. I am
ready, bro.
I'm pumped. I am so literally I get goosebumps when I talk about it. But outside of obviously all the home games, I mentioned to you before, we're going to go to Kansas City, so I'm looking forward to that. It's one of the stadiums I haven't been to.
Yeah.
Going to Minnesota, going to New York.
KC is Arrowhead's right next to the Royal Stadium. It's in the same park.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
I didn't know that until I went down there for a draft. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's sort of like what Philly does, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But so three away games, the 8 home games, so 11 of the 17.
What away games you go to this year?
So Kansas City, Minnesota, and before Minnesota will be New Orleans.
I will be at New Orleans, sir. I'll have to hit you up, my friend.
Hey, I'll buy you a hurricane.
We'll have to crack one down NOLA, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Who's that? We gonna be that.
We gonna be that, right? Ain't no who that,
sir.
Right.
We that, sir. We that.
But outside of it, I'm looking forward to getting back to the gala. So we missed the gala last year. We had a family commitment that was on the same day and planned well in advance before the gala was announced.
Yeah.
But we'll be back at the gala next year for sure. That's definite.
When you get word about it, throw it out on your social media, man.
I will.
I've never heard of it. I know I've never heard of it before.
I definitely will, because and over the last couple of years, I definitely have been promoting it even more.
I can imagine it's hard to get a ticket to, right?
No, it's really not. It's not. Honestly, it's like when the tickets come out, put it like this: it's easier to get a ticket for that than trying to get a ticket for the home opener. I mean, you literally you don't even have to get it the first day. It comes out. If you get your tickets within the first week, you'll still be able to.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know how many people it sits, but it's huge. It's all in the United Club, and they got tables of 10, and it's like 10. Just
that's like how the draft's set up, pretty much. Right.
Exactly. So I mean, kind of the fast forward during the season, we'll see about charitable things. I think Cole Kmet's got something that's coming up, a golf event. I got to check the dates on that. My wife actually reminded me of that, because again, I start forgetting when all these different things are. But we'll try to support everything that we can that's during the season, and then when you start getting towards the end of the season into next year, then obviously you're looking at the gala for next year, and you're looking at some of the other things that make up the draft party. Obviously, we've been doing that every year for the last several years since I announced the Riley Ridley pick back in 2019.
Yeah. Hey, what did you do to us, sir?
I know. Hey, that's my Bulldogs too, man. I was hoping. I love the guy. I just didn't work out. I still blame it on Nagy. It's Nagy.
Yeah, it's always Nagy.
Right. It's the visor.
Nobody buys that visor anymore. I think that I don't even think they make them anymore. It's been ruined forever.
I know. They just make them for him. Yeah. Special order.
He's back getting that Andy Reid ring and Mahomes ring now. He's all good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, he tried.
Yeah, I know. No ill will. He graduated from my college, University of Delaware. Shout out to the mighty Fighting Blue Hens.
There we go. Yeah. Well, Terence, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on the show, man. It's been an absolute honor. You're the epitome of what a Bears fan is, so I hope everyone listens up tonight. Everything you do, from the travel into the games to the away games to the charity, I mean, you definitely kick ass, my friend. It doesn't go unnoticed.
I appreciate you.
All right, my guy. Appreciate it, sir. I'll definitely have you back on again.
Pleasure, brother. Absolutely.
Let's get a Bears victory for the home opener, sir.
Let's go. Let's get a Bears victory. My birthday.
There we go.
The Packers. Let's go. Come on.
Do it for our Hall of Fans, Hall of Famer, Terence Young.
Bear down. Thanks,
All
boss.
right, boss. Have a good night,
Be good,
sir.
brother.
Thank you, bro.
All right, talk to you soon.
Later. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Terence is definitely a class act. Definitely a ton of fun to have on the show. As you can tell by his story, one of the most deserving people for the Ford Hall of Fans. Living in New Jersey, the away games, the season tickets, season ticket holder when he doesn't even live in Chicago. So any of you guys are ever planning on trying to get in the contest, trying to put your name in, you definitely got a good idea of the work that needs to be done. Appreciate everyone tonight, as always, watching. This Thursday, I'll be doing another show with Maxwell for the Buffalo Bills game. I have Diabillo on the show from Bills Mafia. He is amazing. He's a super fun, nice guy. You guys are going to love him. And then I got a couple bonus shows coming up I'll be announcing too, so keep your eyes out on social media. Actually, one this Sunday and then again the next week on Monday that I'm really excited about. So keep an eye out on my page. Appreciate you guys. And as always, bear down, baby.
Thank you. And go Bears!